I'm reporting this because no other television news channel will. Be warned, the following information is distressing. A grooming gang of refugees from Syria and Kuwait raped and abused a child in Newcastle, passing her around like a toy. Huzaifa Al-Aboud and Omar and Mohammed Badreddin subjected a 13-year-old girl to repeated rapes, taking it in turns, leaving her physically and emotionally scarred for life. They groomed the young girl, plied her with alcohol and took turns raping her, while another individual, Kuwait national Al-Saumi, pictured third from the left, laughed at her. They threatened to kill her or take her out of the country if she spoke out about it. They tried to convert her to Islam. She started reading the Quran, and the court heard that in return they repeatedly raped, assaulted and abused her. The Badreddin brothers also pleaded guilty to violent disorder in relation to a BLM march in 2020, while they were on bail for the sex offences. But this story somehow gets even more shocking. Omar Badreddin was previously acquitted of a different sexual assault charge in 2016, and BBC Newsnight, who claim they've been following the story of the Badreddins since they arrived in the UK, decided to do a full feature on them. It was released the day Omar Badreddin was cleared of that previous unrelated sex charge 8 years ago. That feature is still available on YouTube, and it is called, unbelievably, To Hell and Back, the story of one Syrian family given refuge in the UK. The idea that Omar Badreddin had been through hell in Britain was repeated in tweets promoting the feature. It follows their journey of being accused of sexual assault. In the piece, the BBC claims the refugee family, quote, quickly found that in taking up the offer of sanctuary, they had replaced a war zone with a different kind of hell. Omar then claims that he thinks the girl made up all the allegations against him because she didn't like foreigners. He said,
I felt she didn't want any foreigners in this country, and that is why she made up the whole story.
Omar raped a girl on numerous occasions when she was so drunk she was vomiting and unable to stand up, and even after she'd told him that she was self-harming. The BBC Newsnight piece also makes the claim that Syrian men, in many ways, were less sexually experienced than the girls they were supposed to have attacked. The BBC journalist said Omar told her he'd never even had a sexual relationship of any kind. Now, the BBC Newsnight reporter, Katie Razzle, wrote after they were initially found not guilty of sexual assault in 2016, Omar Badreddin's father, Marwan, in the public gallery, began to cry when he heard the verdict. But when I walked into the Badreddins' home this afternoon, there was little celebration, and the tears shed were not of joy. The family told me ever since their son's arrest that they'd felt humiliated and dishonoured. In Syrian culture, this type of accusation is so damaging to their reputation. Omar is now serving 18 years for multiple counts of child rape. His brother Mohammed is serving 13 years. Of course, the BBC were unaware of the awful crimes that he would go on to commit. But it doesn't end here. Al-Aboud, who was convicted of 2 counts of rape, assault by penetration and assault occasioning actual bodily harm, was sentenced to just 5.5 years. Al-Saumi, guilty of 3 counts of sexual assault and assault by penetration, got a suspended sentence. There is no talk of even trying to deport these monsters. In fact, we asked the Home Office if they were considering it. They told us it wasn't really their responsibility before the Ministry of Justice referred us back to the Home Office, who then eventually said that those eligible will be deported at the earliest opportunity. It's a circus, isn't it? The BBC's documentary on a member of this vile refugee rape gang is still online. This grotesque case highlights several things. We are giving refuge to some people who rape and abuse children. Our state broadcaster stands accused by some people online of doing a PR job for these people. The BBC denies this, of course. But where is the BBC Newsnight follow-up on this story? The other things it shows is if people come here and rape kids, we still don't deport them. Sickening. The BBC has said in 2015 and 2016, Newsnight followed the story of the Badreddin family, who were Syrian refugees who were settling in the UK. During 2016, their son Omar was tried for sexual assault and he was found not guilty. 2 years afterwards, in 2018 and 2019, Omar Badreddin and his brother Mohammed committed multiple counts of rape. They were found guilty and were jailed last week. The BBC reported this. In any situation, the BBC can only report on the facts as they stand at the time, which is what we did in 2016. The Badreddin's subsequent crimes are appalling, and we express our sincere sympathies to the victim. Let's get the thoughts now of...